too. Tim Apple. Apple just doing what Apple do. Basically, this is the time of the year where we get new chips and new MacBook Pros. Now, it might seem a little odd because we just got new chips and new MacBook Pros, but those were late earlier this year. These are on time. And you need clarity of thought, and that's why I'm here with this no BS buyer's guide. Listen, when Apple released the M1, M1 Pro, and M1 Max chip, M1 Ultra, did they even do Ultra? I don't know if they did Ultra that time, but anyways, when the M1 chip first released, it revolutionized. It was the most innovative thing smoking in the computer realm, and it also put the competitors on their heels. Put them on their back, actually. Literally, they're playing catch up right now, and they're working on their own SoC, competition, especially for the other side, if you know what I'm saying, the Windows side. Now, with that being said, when you put yourself in the front, you put a target on your back, and there's always that big, that big innovation point, and then there's the generations that follow, which are the refinements, which are steady, and then there's sometime in the future, a big innovative jump. Everyone gets excited. Everybody goes crazy. A new target's on the back. And then there's those refinement years, right? We're in those refinement years. If you are a proud M1, M1 Pro, M1 Max owner, you're still seeing the benefits. And this isn't as tempting to you as it is to someone who's still on those Intel-based Macs. Whew. Yeah. And for you guys, this is an exciting and great time to upgrade because going from Intel Max to this, it's a whole new world. I will say this, M2, M2 Pro, M2 Max, I mean, come on. Really? You just released. You just got them. Relax. I'm pretty sure you're doing good. And also, the changes obviously aren't by that much, which is why Apple always referenced the change in between the M1 chips to the M3 chips because there's actually some upgradability in between those two. Not necessary. Again, I own an M1 Max MacBook Pro 14-inch, spec'd out heavily, but Apple did what Apple does, and they are marketing genius. And when you have the M2 chips going into the M3 chips, and there's not that much difference, what is the point of anyone coming to see what's going on? Well, the point is Apple just released a brand new color, a color that we've all wanted, and that's the space black, basically a matte black MacBook Pro. You really trying to do this to me, Tim? Really? Really? Well played, because you get the buzz going. Everyone's talking about the space black. Now you got people understanding and knowing about Apple just released M3 Max. Genius. But as someone who has used all of these chips, I gotta give you clarity. The no BS buyer guide is exactly that. No BS. I'm keeping your budget in mind. Your, purchasing, anyways, let's get into it. No BS. All right. So one thing to note with this setup is the 13-inch touch bar MacBook Pro, RIP. It's over with. Yeah. Basically, that's taking on a new 14-inch architecture structure. The 14-inch MacBook Pro now has the base M3 chip within it. Again, it's keeping the same limitations of less ports and only one external display. But you have the chassis, the better display, everything, the benefits of better and better design with the 14-inch chassis. It does come at a cost though. You're not paying the same. I think these were at $12.99. You're gonna pay $15.99 for that increase. $15.99 for that, right? But is the cost warranted? I mean, honestly, the better chassis, the better design, the better setup and so forth. And with this M3 base, $15.99 machine, there's the reality that this thing is starting with 8 gigs unified memory, and a lot of people are going to be looking at that price, and it's not going to sit well with a lot of people, especially in the tech community. And I can understand that position. I can see also why the price increased, because the hardware, like better display, that 14-inch MacBook Pro chassis has a lot of different upgrades within it that can warrant Apple raising the price point. It's not a machine for me, but I understand why it exists. It's for the people who want the, MacBook Pro body. They don't want an Air. They want the benefits of the MacBook Pro body, but not necessarily the Pro. And a lot of people are probably gonna be looking at this one, right? Because it's like, this is always the cheaper one. This is how you get people into this, Pro world. It's always at the base level. Most people always want to get the base one and see if it's worth it. We'll break down the base setup. Matter of fact, let's just get straight into it, right? This is the no BS talk, right? So here with this base setup at $1599, you're only getting 8 gigs of unified memory, 512 SSD. If you're just trying to spend $1599 on this, your workload should resemble what this is, right? Because not much headroom, not so much room for growth. It's just to be used as is for what it is. You're getting a nicer setup. Some people might get this just for browsing and watching media content and doing notes in school, and they want to be on the MacBook Pro format for that. This is where you start right here because you're keeping it simple. But my ladder of upgrades when it comes to building for headroom and the future and deciding how long you're going to keep these devices, I always start at the unified memory. Mind you, all of these upgrades, when you hit purchase, that's it. There's no going back, hey, I need more RAM. Consider this. And then I go to storage, right? If I was building this one to expand it for growth, I would go 16 gigabytes of unified memory first, which gives me expansion, gives me, a lot more flexibility. 8 gigs is pretty restrictive, especially on a Pro machine. They should all start at 16. And then for me personally, I would never use internal storage less than 1 terabyte. If you can live with the 512 and get by with that, do it. But me personally, I wouldn't. But look at what that does to me. That puts me at the 199 mark. And conveniently so, the M3 Pro in the 14-inch setup is base configuration. Hold on, let me put it back to base. I was doing some, clicking around and stuff. Starts at, wait. It's definitely tripping. Okay, there it is. But it basically puts me into that 199 category. This ladder on Apple upgrades is tricky because you end up climbing a lot higher than where you thought you were going to be. But if it makes sense and it's still within your budget, then it makes sense. And how can it make sense, CJ? Okay, so I feel like those upgrades aren't necessary unless you need the headroom, but I feel like when you start doing that, you're actually trying to build a true Pro machine. If you're trying to expand on the unified memory and your storage, well, hey, you can come over here and start at 199 with the M3 Pro. You're expanding your GPU reach core-wise and your CPU reach core-wise. So if we come back here, as you guys can see, you're going from 8 cores of CPU to 11 cores of CPU, and from 10 cores of GPU all the way up to 14 cores of GPU. So it's a significant amount of core updates in between those two, right? And the only difference is to get to where you were on the storage. Well, there's 2 differences actually. You would have to upgrade to the 1 terabyte. It's going to cost you $200 more, but there's also at the base starting of unified memory, instead of 16, you're getting 18. It's an awkward number to start with, but hey, this is new M3 chips with 3 nanometer, setup. Hey. So if I do that, then I'm at $21.99. But I've just given myself more cores in CPU and GPU headroom. I've given myself more unified memory even further, and I have true headroom and growth in a true Pro platform. Now you might be wondering, CJ, why is there another M3 Pro chip that costs me an extra $200? Because this is the M3 Pro chip in whole, you know what I mean? Typically, they have these other chips that can be bin models, and there's nothing wrong with bin models, by the way. Get off your keyboard, because the keyboard warriors is gonna go crazy when you start talking about that. But you want the M3 Pro chip in a, how can we say this? Stronger form. I was gonna say in a whole form. Then you go with this 12-core CPU and 18-core GPU. Now this right here is great. And keep this in mind, bin chips, the one that is less $200 are great because they allow you to get in at a better price point. And that's a part of the reason why they exist as well. But 12 cores of CPU, 18-core GPU, $200 more, with that same memory setup and a larger storage at 1 terabyte, if that can suffice you know what I'm saying? For me personally, from personal experience, again, I got a different workload. I would never do a 1 terabyte on a laptop ever again. When I build my true upgraded MacBook Pro in the future, it will not have 1 terabyte. But that's for me personally, and that's again me learning the hard way of building a machine, a beast, all of this stuff spec'd out. But I forgot the one spec that I needed to, and that was the storage. Because again, I went CPU upgrade, then I got my my RAM, my unified memory. I got that, and I didn't get enough storage, so I regret that. Again, this is why I'm telling you ahead of time, think about this and think about the true headroom and the true conveniences. And the reason why I would want, I'm gonna just break this down to you, give it to you. The reason why I would even want a larger storage capacity is because then I don't have to deal with external hard drives. And also doing projects, like sometimes with me, since I'm in video editing and stuff, I don't always want to have to do a project, delete that footage to get to the next project. I want to be able to do multiple projects. I could be traveling, especially if I'm traveling, I'm doing work, man. I'm trying to shoot, unload everything, chop it up, video, go. You feel me? So that's why you got to think about what you really need and where you're going with this. $23.99. This is a very nice spec M3 Pro, and it's even nicer if you can deal with the 11 core, 14 core version. But this is a sweet M3 Pro. Now, here we get into the talk of the M3 Max and how people end up here, and if you're even needing that, because a lot of people just buy M3 Max because they see their favorite content creator with an M3 Max or M1 Max or whatever, right? Are you gonna actually utilize it, and do you really need it, right? And really be real with yourself. Don't get caught up in the hype. The 16-inch for the M3 Max is really the better machine, but there's a caveat and a trade-off with that, and that's the size and the portability. Because if you need size and portability to be more favorable, the 14-inch is just the way you go. Actually, I'm gonna do a more detailed video about this. I'm gonna do a comparison with the M3 Pros with the 14 versus 16. I got you guys, and really break it down. We won't go into that in depth, but like the M3 Max with the 16-inch, it comes with the full M3 Max, the 16 core, 40 core, right? Now, if you go right here, you can see there's also a 14 core, 30 core, which is that bin M3 Max shit, which allows you to get into M3 Max territory. The thing is, M3 Max costs the bag. As you can see right here, it's a plus 400 upgrade. And honestly, if you're going just from the bin chip to that, it's technically a $600 upgrade to get into M3 Max territory, which puts you at $31.99. And honestly, when you're stepping into that Max territory, you could possibly have, especially if you're doing this because of a necessity, a need for higher unified memory counts, right? And storage as well. And that's why these machines get pricey. The M3 Max, you're easily going to be up in that 4 to 5K range, especially once you start making upgrades. You know what I mean? I go 2 terabytes, that's an extra 400. And if I dare to go into the 96 unified memory territory, I'm at $43.99. Now, as I said, the 16-inch for the M3 Max, to me personally, seems like the better chassis for cooling, and for just being real. Not for portability and everyday carry, let's be real, but just getting the most out of your machine and having less concerns about hitting throttling points and things like that. The 16-inch chassis is so much better, right? But that starts with the 48 gigabytes of unified memory. This year is crazy because depending on what chip you get, especially in the M3 Max territory, determines what unified memory upgrades you can have and what you can't. As you can see, I got 48, 64, and 128. But on the other M3 Max, you only got the more bin chip is 36 or 96. That's your only 2 options, which is wild. So here you get a little bit more playroom building on this M3 Max, which is the full one, right? And you could get like 64. I could get away with 2 terabytes of storage, but I'm at $45.99. Again, let's say I require more and I want the 4 terabytes of storage, I'm at $199. This can escalate quickly in the M3 Max world. That's why I'm telling people, if you don't need a M3 Max or anything like that, just relax. Stick to where you can land and really truly flourish and keep your budget intact, which is why the M3 Pro chip is a great chip. It's very capable for a lot of people who are just getting into that pro area. And I'm not talking about what I was talking about earlier or the consumer base for the M3 regular 14-inch. That's definitely just those people who want to bear the pro moniker but not do pro activities. There's slight pro. Let me be real. Let me not stomp on the regular M3 because it's a beast. Just be real. It's a beast, right? Especially in comparison to the competition and what they're offering thus far. But the competition is on the heels. They coming. They got things, in motion. But M3 Pro chip, right here, I like the 12 core, 18 core. If I'm just being real with you guys. And I don't see anything wrong with going with the 11 core, 14 core. I just got to keep saying that because, keyboard warriors be on 10. They just hear that and then they go to typing. They probably already left their comment. But I really do like the M3 Pro chip for the people who are like mid-tier or just getting in. You can really develop with this device. And if you want to go ahead and like throw on, 36 unified memory and you trying to build like a beast, machine or whatever, that's a conversation. But listen, okay, wait, let me see. So if I was at like 1 terabyte, right? Me personally, yeah, whatever. So like, okay, let's just say the M3 Pro, you making your upgrades, right? Like, look, I got the, full M3 Pro. I go 36 gigs unified memory because, I'm feeling that way. That headroom is where I'm at, right? And then I want 2 terabytes of storage. Well, now you're at the 3199, which puts you in that M3 Max territory, right? You see how this cycle goes? So like if I were to go M3 Max, right? Dang, it's crazy. If you build on a 14-inch, you can actually go to 512 gig storage with an M3 Max, which I don't know why you would do that. So if I go with the 2 terabyte, with the 1 terabyte, so that's like the base start for the M3 Max, because the base M3 Max build, the lowest price M3 Max build, not the lowest, but one of the lowest, or the ideal M3 Max build low point is $3199. You see, this ladder can be a slippery slope and you can make a lot of bad decisions if you're just following, I just want, bragging. I just want to say I got an M3 Max type thing. If you don't need an M3 Max and you get it just to say you got it and you can afford it, I'm not even going to judge you in that type of setup either. Do your thing. But I think the M3 Pro is for the majority. I think the M3 base chip inside the MacBook Pro chassis is for a lot of people who are just general, who just want a MacBook Pro, but they don't want to pay the pro price, right? But for my real pro users in the MacBook Pro arena, the M3 Pro is a great mediation point. And then for my people who require more, you already know. Honestly, if you require M3 Max, you more than likely know what you want and are building. I just wanted to kick the point to you guys about the 16-inch because 16-inch just has that better cooling and thermal, and it's just a better chassis for it. And then you more than likely know what you need as far as unified memory and storage, and it's gonna cost. The reason why I make videos like this is because, like me, I'm an M1 Max MacBook Pro owner. I made a mistake on SSD storage, but I'm stuck for now, right? Unless I make an option and I opt to upgrade. And I won't lie, Apple's making it hard and very tempting with offering a space black option. I can't wait to get that in the office and experience it with my eyes and see what it looks like. But, sometimes you got to get off the gas. If you know what gas is, you got to get off the FOMO and you got to be realistic. That's what no BS buying is all about. You got to be within your budget, and you just got to give yourself the proper headroom as well. You don't want to budget yourself out of proper headroom like I did by not putting a larger than 1 terabyte SSD in here. And I'm paying the cost even more. I always hear my bro, Tech Gear Talk, say, buy it nice or buy it twice. And boy, is that the truth. And I think on that note, we can leave. So hopefully this helped you kind of have more clarity and you out of the smoke and mirrors and the cap of the, it's overhyped because it doesn't blow the M2 chip out of the water. Anyone talking like that, they leading you down a slippery slope. Anyone who can admit that from the M1 chips to the M3, there is a nice upgrade there, but it's not necessary. There is a nice, a fundamental, upgrade from there to there, and you can kind of consider it and kind of be, in the same territory, but it's not necessary. And anyone on Intel-based Macs, what are you doing? You technology snobs, I done just about had it with all of y'all. Listen, duck.
New watch, no diamonds, new watch, good timing, yeah. New watch, no diamonds, new watch, good timing, yeah. Need no middleman, I'm the man to man, send it in. I like what I like, me, I know my rights, it's sipping in. I like having fun, I do what I want, it's what it is. For my son and son, for my daughters, yeah, it's for my twin. I work through the night.